Well, here we go again. Another year and college football is now officially part of the annual release schedule. The returning College Football 25 killed my hype for any EA Sports game ever again. How does the 2027 edition hold up? Well, let's talk about it. Hey, it's Cobra here to save you all from the paid dishonest sellout opinions on games, movies, and shows. Topic of discussion today is EA Sports' latest annual crap, College Football 27. Well, is it crap? We're gonna find out. In today's video, I'm gonna share with you my brutally honest opinion about it, from gameplay, presentation, and overall just fun factor. We're gonna dive into it all. For each positive aspect, I'll give the game an up on the counter, and every negative aspect will receive a down, ultimately so you can decide if it's a waste of your money or if it makes you really sad because of yet another depressing modern sports title. But real quick, as always, before we begin, I want to thank all of you that have subscribed to the channel so far. We now sit at 3,600, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. And if you're watching this video and you haven't subbed already,
what are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
Anyway, though, let's talk about College Football 27. Gameplay is where this year's edition of the game had the most pressure to get back on track. College Football 25, it was way too arcadey for me, but at its root it felt closer to college than 26 did, which went back to that overly slow Madden EA path that we all know and hate. This year in 27, if I'm being completely honest, it's a very mixed bag for me. Let's begin with a down for it still being way too close to the slow and sluggish side more than the faster fun pace. It's definitely better than 26 for sure, but I wouldn't call it very entertaining. It sucks too because there's so many positive aspects that I genuinely enjoy that we will get to in a second, but the Frostbite engine, it's in full effect, and I truly don't think an EA sports game will ever reach great levels again because of it. Enjoyable, explosive big plays are a rare sight. Going along with that, the broken tackles still feel very stiff and boring. Celebrations are very unnatural and take a long time to start executing them for some reason after you click the button. As a whole, everything just feels very safe and corporate is my best way of putting it. Like it's the young night owl of the group with a bunch of miserable adults trying to have too much fun, but you don't want to because it might annoy them, if that makes any sense. Which ties into down number 2 for it still feeling way too close to NFL football in some areas. I'd say about 90% of the punters you come across, for example, will bomb the damn ball 60 plus yards to flip field position like it's nothing. I don't know if you've ever watched college football, but punters do not work that way at all. Kickers are almost just as bad. 50 or 60 yarders feel like no big deal more often than they should be. Every pass rusher has little to no issue excelling against O-lines no matter what the situation is. We will touch more on that too in a bit. And the always annoying high completion percentages for all QBs, and it's out here doing its typical thing again, and it drives me crazy and I hate it so much. Let's put it that way. However, on a more positive note, the first up for College Football 27 is going to the user control finally returning. I wouldn't say in full form, but it's pretty strong. This seriously might be one of the best improvements to a football game in a long time. For years, EA football games have been obsessed with animation-based everything. You'd push a button, then watch a 3-second canned animation determine your fate. Thankfully, player movement feels much more responsive this year. The left stick finally feels like, you know, the left stick. You actually feel connected to your athlete instead of steering in quicksand. Running the football is way more enjoyable because of this. The movement just feels loose and free. You can set defenders up properly, cut naturally, escape the pocket instantly with your quarterback if you need to. Ultimately, it feels less scripted, and I'm here for it. Also, I think I'm giving an overall up to the minor tweaks the gameplay received. The pre-play adjustments are better than they've ever been. All the options you need right at your fingertips with a click of a button. The QB sneak meter is another welcomed addition, along with the short yardage situations overall finally feeling like some smash mouth football that I've always been desperate for. When it comes to the QB sneak meter, whenever you actually hit it in the green, I like that it's not an automatic win, it just improves your chances. Nothing in sports should ever be automatic. That's the beauty of sports. Similar to the QB sneak meter, time-based catching is another minor optional mechanic that they added this year that's kind of similar. Not something I particularly like because I enjoy the players determining the outcome, not me. But for online competitive players, this is a very good addition. along with the tackle stick changes I think will be good too. Now every direction you move the right stick triggers a different type of tackle instead of just a hit stick. Look, these things might sound minor, but minor things added together can make a big difference in the long run if they want to keep trending upward. Now let's talk about a hit and miss thing this year, the defense. Let's begin with up number 3 simply for it receiving a much needed focus point this year. First off, being the big defensive type of guy that I am, I love seeing 31 total playbook schemes on the defensive side of the football finally. No more seeing the same BS over and over again very quickly. Zones are definitely a lot smarter this year too, and I love the new looking for work mechanic they gave defenders, making them less useless as a play extends like real life does. Normally they just sit there and do absolutely nothing. This time they actually do a little bit. It's not perfect by any means, but it is improved. Plus, tackle angles are much improved since College Football 25, something I really hated on because it was really bad. I am giving a down for the other aspects of the defensive changes because you know EA can never just give a healthy balance of anything. Just make the teams play like the teams is what I want you to do. You don't have to super favor defense like this. They are way overpowered way too often for a college game. I hate complaining about this after ripping College Football 25 a couple years ago for brain dead defense, but again, where is the balance? The issue is mostly in the passing game. Running the ball seems pretty solid overall, but passing is an absolute joke this year. The CPU is out here covering to perfection 90% of the time, and that's great. I love seeing defenders do their thing, but this is college, not the 85 Bears. No reason almost every pass play should lead to tight coverage throws constantly. It doesn't work that way at this level of football. That's if you even have more than 1 second to throw the ball anyways. Most of the time you'll actually have somebody all over you, 1 or 2 defensive linemen in your face while you're trying to throw. This isn't even a CPU only complaint at all either. I did it to them and they do it to me. I would say 9 out of 10 games I played had double-digit total sacks between both teams. Doesn't matter the team matchup, doesn't matter how good or bad the offensive and defensive lines were. It's the way the game is made this year like they always do it, and to say the least, it's very annoying. But thankfully, there's one more saving grace and probably my favorite personal thing in the entire game. This will apply to Madden 2 next month, and actually probably more to that game because it means more to me in the NFL than it does college, but I'm giving an up for the dynamic weather finally making its way into a football game. Actually, a sports game, period. Thank the freaking sports heavens here. I'm 100% the type of football fan that wants to see a blizzard or a muddy mess over a boring, safe dome game you get nowadays, and they did not hold back at all with this feature. Originally, I expected it to be, you know, it snows at the beginning and it piles on more as you go, or every quarter it changes, but no, this shit does whatever the hell it wants at all times. For example, in this game that I played, I started out with no conditions at all, then it started snowing lightly, leading to more and more accumulating on the field in actually a pretty realistic way for the most part. Eventually it reached a full-on snow game, and by the end of the game it was clear weather again, and once the weather clears in this game, every footstep or slide into the snow will reveal the grass below you again. So you'll see what areas of the field have been played on more often than others, and I think that's awesome. Plus, jerseys will have snow on them or mud if you're playing on a grass field in the rain. See, EA, it's really not that hard to satisfy me with cool, simple stuff like this. I feel like in this new modern sports gaming era where all the microtransactions are popping off for all you weirdos out there, presentation is one of those things that gets lost in the shuffle and doesn't get the appreciation it deserves. I couldn't be further from that type of person. Giving me immersive presentation is something that will make me enjoy a sports game almost by itself if it's good enough. As far as College Football 27, this is a mixed bag category once again. Let's begin with a very, very small up just because it improved a bit, despite me not thinking it's quite good enough to be at par yet. I'm of course talking about pre-game entrance run out things. The last couple years they often felt very rushed, and it was really for no reason at all. You'd barely get excited before kickoff and it was already happening. Now though, again, it's still not up to that NCAA 13 and 14 level, but improvement is improvement. Certain teams actually get proper introductions, including team builders, schools actually getting runouts now. Overall, everything you see is a tad longer, the camera work is better, new mascots are known, and traditions find their way into the game as well. New traditions, I should say, and team banners are also another new thing, making an appearance as a visual upgrade, and the cutscene additions for big rivalry games are a decent touch that adds something. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but nothing gets me more excited to play a big game more than a crowd going nuts for the home squad, whether you are on the home or the away sideline. Bitterness between rivals and immersing yourself in the atmosphere of a sports game is just great. Pairing with the runouts are awesome graphic and lighting visuals that give the game another up. The stadium lighting during the pre-game theatrics or touchdown celebrations is extremely good. Players with their likeness in the game look really good as well, and the added equipment elements are a great thing to see. Dynamic lighting still does all the heavy lifting it's done since, I think, last year. I don't remember if that was in 25 or not, but as the game rolls on, you see it do its thing. As you head down for kickoff, the first presentation thing we're going to talk about is a down, and it is going to the new sideline reporter and the new announcer replacing Kirk Herbstreit. This is a perfect example of stuff that irritates me about modern sports titles. They put in something that could be cool, like a sideline reporter, then they half-ass it so much that it might as well not even be in the game. Cause she speaks maybe twice every game, and that is about all you get. And Kirk Herbstreit being replaced by Joel Klatt was not an upgrade at all in my opinion. I will say, however, the broadcast presentation as a whole is worthy of an up for now. Still think it could be better, but I think it's pretty decent overall at the moment. When you start in games, it does a decent job of highlighting impact players and showing some of the lineups, and at the end of quarters, you get these team comparison stat screens. Or if you're playing in a rivalry game with rich history, it'll show you some historic facts about that rivalry's history, and I like that kind of stuff. Teach people that don't know. And I feel like replays are a little bit upgraded and better than a lot of the modern football games EA has put out lately, and they actually show replays on reviews, so I guess that's a good thing compared to 25 at least. I don't remember if 26 did that. Unfortunately, these idiots love the annual down for halftime shows being a complete joke. Is it so hard to just give us a college game day style halftime and pregame show? Just have two guys run through some games, talk about some players making an impact, touch on award races, playoff chases, and highlights of the game that you're playing. It's really not that difficult in 2026 with the technology at hand. Instead, what you get is a single game around the country that highlights at the beginning of the halftime show. Then they show 3 other scores for legit under 3 seconds, so you better not blink or you'll miss it. And then it proceeds to show off one highlight play from your first half with generic commentary over it about what happened that usually isn't very accurate to the situation it's talking about anyways. And that's all you get. Remember, this is a fully priced game that is only $10 cheaper than GTA 6 later this year. Really think about that and let that sink in. Finally, before we wrap up this section, I never know a good spot in the video to talk about stability and glitches, so presentation will have to do for this video. And as always in the 2020s football games we've gotten recently, a down is given for the ridiculous BS you will see while playing this game. Where do I even begin? I'm not going to show all of them for the sake of time, but let's touch on some. In Dynasty, the menu switching between players and recruiting tabs is unbearably slow at times. Despite enjoying presentation, a few times it was lagging like a bitch, forcing me to quit a couple of those games, and it wouldn't even let me back in to reload my game either, by the way. Also, I had a couple issues where the lighting / weather had this really weird blinding effect on the field. I don't recall noticing it outside of Road to Glory, but in that mode, there's this weird pants glitch going on that makes your pants stretch all the way down to the ground like you shit yourself or something. And I can't forget the plenty of overlays that got stuck on the screen while I'm simply just playing a standard football game, like this injury one that stayed for all eternity until I quit the game and went back in to get rid of it. As much money as EA makes from the weak-minded Ultimate Team fools out there, you would think they'd have this shit cleaned up by now, but of course they do not. Speaking of Ultimate Team, down. Why does this shit exist in sports games still? As always, when it comes to these idiotic microtransaction modes on this channel, if you want to play this nonsense, please seek help and call 1-800-TAKE-MY-MONEY for assistance ending your gambling problems. Cause yes, it's gambling and should be illegal for children that play this brain rot manipulation mode. Anyway, back to the actual review here and your regularly scheduled program as we get to the actual sports mode that people should be playing. Dynasty mode, of course, is what I'm talking about, and right off of the bat, I gotta say it's trending slightly upwards, so that's good. Doesn't mean it's great or anything, but we're headed up instead of down, so I'll take it for now. While not being the driving force behind this upward trend, Team Builder is getting an up this year for not being taken out of the game yet, for one, because I've been waiting for EA to do that because, you know, they just do things like that. But two, the actual reason is it's actually getting improvements. I don't have any direct footage right now because of my recording setup, sorry about that, but the site as a whole is much better, I will say. They added created stadiums too, so that's cool, so you don't have to invade somebody else's real stadium like the plague. They also let you create your crowd color patterns, which is nice to see because that actually is a big thing this year too. Overall, you can pick your crowd patterns. Like I said, not the craziest positive you'll ever see, but I like that it's not being ignored and they're actually improving it a little bit here. When you actually begin Dynasty though, let's get the biggest negative out of the way with a down for recruiting for the third straight year with this game. There is an element of it that I like and we will touch on too, but this crap at its core is still the same stupid point system crap from 25 and 26. A lot of what I said in my 25 review still remains an issue years later. You cannot create a recruit still like you could over a decade ago in 14 and all the other ones. The grades are there, but there's no direct grade comparison battle between you and another school to build tension between two schools. The verbal committing thing is just a rebranded final stage in my opinion. And again, I had an issue of recruiting high star recruits in year 2 of my North Florida Team Builder Cupcake team existing. It's second year of existence and we're pulling 4-star recruits already. Come on now, it is time to fix this shit. It's been a couple years. To put it simply, NCAA 13's in-depth recruiting blows this out of the water still, so step it up, EA. And if that wasn't bad enough, the computer recruiting logic is also very flawed. Multiple times I saw top schools recruiting 2 5-star QBs and actually not just recruiting them, bringing them in and signing them the same year. Maybe the schools would go after 2, that's fine, but in no universe as a player are you going to commit somewhere where you actually have another 5-star recruit at the same position, well, QB mainly. Also for the third straight year, the recruits' faces and coaches' faces, I will say, still look stupid as hell. It's definitely better than the last couple years, I will say, but still too many people look unrealistic, and that is not acceptable in an EA game that makes so much money year after year as far as Madden goes. Nobody looks like this. So yeah, down. A new feature that somewhat involves recruiting is the addition of Dynasty points, although the microtransaction aspect of it can F off for sure, but as far as them working as your NIL money in the mode, I think it works pretty well. Depending on the rank of school that you have, you'll get a certain amount of money every year basically. From there you can choose to spend it on recruits to boost their interest in your school, basically by paying them. I hate this in real life compared to the old school recruiting, but the game replicates what it does in real life pretty well. If you don't want to spend it on recruits, you can spend some of your Dynasty money on coordinators to improve your coaching staff or the newly added facilities. Here, these provide different advantages for your school depending on your choices, things like extra recruiting hours, better training for wear and tear management throughout the season, or simply upgrading your facility grade for recruiting. So yes, an up for this feature, but I can already see it being trash in the future, but as of right now, it's an up. I'm gonna give out another up as well for coach mode being its own unique way to play the game this year. Normally, you can spectate your team if you want to have zero control of outcomes and see how things play out, but coach mode allows you to literally step into the sidelines, call plays, still do pre-play adjustments if you want, and you manage subs all throughout the game. But instead of playing yourself, you actually still watch it unfold in front of your face, which is cool. So it's like a perfect merge of playing and spectating the game, so you can still call the plays basically and watch it. And I'm talking literally right in front of your face too with the sideline camera angle. Talk about immersion, watching players get tackled inches away from you. And if that's too close to the action to examine everything going on, you can switch it up to this alternate upper deck cam that I was loving. This feels more like you're a fan with a ticket in the upper deck than a coach, but you can see anything you need to from up there and examine whatever you gotta look at. Now, as far as the other minor things in the mode, I'm gonna give out an up right now for some smaller additions as a whole, and I'm also simultaneously gonna give out a down right now for some of the things still missing together. On a week-to-week basis, you can manage practice reps for wear and tear, so that's nice to see. Historic stats for all teams have been added, so if you want to go back in history and see what everybody's done, you can. And when you reach the end of the season, can you believe it? They added an actual Heisman show for their award ceremony. This is the kind of thing I want to see for weekly shows or halftime in the future. Over to the bad side of things, in Dynasty, the small things still missing. When you make your schedule, you still can't schedule neutral games, so fuck you for that. This one really gets under my skin if you can't tell big time, because how difficult is it to just add that? And the neutral games are in the game. You just can't change them or schedule them yourself. Like, come on, man. The new admin expectations are really just season goals, so there's not really much to see there, unfortunately. And finally, a super confusing one. How the hell do you sell Madden and college football as one package deal, but I can't import draft classes to Madden franchise? This one just baffles me. Get it together, EA. This should easily be a thing in this game at this point. Okay, last thing on the agenda today in this video, it's Road to Glory, aka Career Mode. This was a mode I praised a decent bit a couple years ago in 25, so I was excited to jump back into this one again. Sadly, this mode is not aging too well in my opinion for simply just not innovating enough and adding anything. As we start with a down for the creation, still being the same bare bones thing it's been. I'm sorry, but at this point there's no reason we shouldn't have more options than this. I criticize other AAA games on this channel for the same limited creation bullshit, so no reason I shouldn't criticize a sports game the same way that costs $70 too. I bashed 25, so did a lot of people out there for high school being absent. 26 brought it back, which is great, but sadly it's still getting a down for EA doing EA type of things with it. We say it's in the game, EA, but what it actually means is it's stripped down. It's brought back, but it's stripped. First off, there's only 6 total teams to play with. You can import a custom team builder design for it, which is a great thing to see, but this leads to you only playing 5 games for your high school season. So no full season, no high school state playoffs, and you only play home games. It's 2026, people. You should have the option to play your entire high school career at this point if you want. You can't even play one full season? Come on now. And on top of that, to make matters even worse, you don't even play the games anymore fully. If this isn't the definition of EA doing EA things, then I don't know what is. You play moments within a scripted game. I get what they're going for here, impactful highlight moments in a game for your tape to show college coaches, but I want to play the whole damn game, especially if you're going to trim the season already. And on top of that, these moments objectives are a bunch of crap anyways. For example, as a defender, if you force a 3 and out as a team but you don't do your specific objectives, it's considered a fail, and I'm not into that kind of crap in sports games. I'm just not. If you as a team stop a team without getting a first down, that is a success. I don't care if I didn't make a direct tackle or something. Honestly, it's truly sad too, because playing the games themselves is what I love so much in this mode, and it still hits again in 27. I'm not even sure how to talk about it in depth without playing it yourself, but it's very enjoyable and gets an up for sure. Something about that zoomed in camera following your player adds a different element of football. You feel the hits you deliver up close, see holes as running backs to burst through, and best of all, you get to soak in the atmosphere of the college stadiums for another up going to the immersion aspect. You legit actually get to run out of the tunnel as your player with the camera right over your shoulder. I played for Virginia Tech for my first defensive player playthrough of this mode. Coming out to Enter Sandman, to put it simply, was absolutely badass, and I loved every second of it as a big Metallica fan. Then before kickoff, you'll see yourself in the huddle with your teammates briefly, and if you want to, you can actually watch the gameplay from the sideline if you're not on the field. It's the little things like this that add up together and they matter the most to me. I just love it. Little attention to detail, EA. Come on, get better with this stuff. I like to see this. Unfortunately, everything else in this mode is a disappointment. When you aren't on the field, it feels very lifeless. I like the energy thing that they put in the mode a couple years ago when 25 came back, but that was a couple years ago. Where is the innovation at? Again, it's 2026. Well, it's a 2027 game, a couple years later. How about actually make some parts of school a little bit interactive outside of football? For example, instead of failing my test if I choose not to study automatically, how about we actually take a small test ourselves as the players, give us multiple choice answers. If you studied a ton, then give us 2 options for the answers. If you didn't study and you chose football over school, then give us like 8 or 10 options so it's harder to get the correct answer. Just one random idea that floated around in my head to evolve this mode more, and I'm some nobody. There's still elements of stuff in here that are okay, but I want more than okay in a $70 game. And last but probably most importantly in this mode, if I'm being real, progression this year is glacier slow. And you want to know why that is? It's so they can push you to spend more real money to progress quicker. Sounds similar, doesn't it? Because I've been waiting for them to catch up to 2K's greed outside of Ultimate Team, and they finally did it this year. Only in this game, they expect you to pay money for a fully offline mode, unlike 2K. And on top of that, this mode doesn't feature any of the great assets that 2K's My Player mode has in it as well. There's no city, there's no free roaming, there's no fun cutscene story to follow along with. It's just a shallow mode that purposely slowed progression to pull money out of you. I can't lie, overall this game is actually decent, but this is one of those fuck you EA moments that go right through me. Well, there you have it, people. All my thoughts on College Football 27. I believe the final tally on the counter is 13 ups and 14 downs. By far the most I've ever given to any game on this channel so far. What can I say? I'm a passionate, lifelong sports gamer, and football specifically. I can't help myself. And remember to keep in mind some ups and downs carry more weight than others, so they might not completely reflect my final overall score. With that being said, though, my final rating for College Football 27 is gonna actually be an above average score of a 6 out of 10. I think my biggest reason for this score being higher than you might have thought it would be is the return of the user control excelling gameplay a ton and the dynamic weather kicking ass more than I expected it to. Road to Glory is the game's biggest letdown, I would say, this year, but it's the least important part of the game, well, other than Ultimate Team, so it doesn't bring the game down too much. Let me know what you think of this year's college football title in the comments below if you played it already, and if you haven't, do you plan on buying it or not? For more videos on games, movies, and shows, make sure you hit that subscribe button to stick around for the future. The channel's goal is 5,000 subs by the end of 2026, so I would appreciate your support getting there, and if you enjoyed today's video, I'd also appreciate you dropping a like on it as well. I hope you have a great rest of your day. That is going to be it for me in this one. See ya!